2-minute video of the SpaceX thing taking off and landing.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, that's really cool. But I'm confused. He never sends me anything like that. So I was confused why he sent me something like that. But I was like, okay. Other than it was cool. So I wrote back to him. I was like, they can do that, and I can even parallel park.
Yeah, right.
Your team sucks. All right. Week 8 of your team sucks. Let's see. So I was like, okay. Other than it was cool. So I wrote back to him. I was like, they can do that, and I can even parallel park. All right. Okay. All right. That is out there streaming to the world. All right. Let me. I have the.
Get it set up on Facebook.
Yeah. I don't. I just have the link, the YouTube link. Um,
Oh, to post.
the post. Yeah. I don't have it streaming to Facebook. I just have it streaming just to YouTube.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to share that post out also, that way people can go to the YouTube link.
And it's on YouTube now. Are we live?
We're live now on YouTube. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Just trying to load this song. NFL games schedule. We're standings, news, teams, standings. Here we go. Okay. All right. That is ready. Let me minimize this. Go back to this. I see you. Okay, here we go. Well, and
It's going to be the same YouTube every time, right?
yeah, it should be a new link each time, but it's the same Your Team Sucks page, if that's what you meant.
No, I wasn't sure if the link was going to be different. Okay.
Yeah, I think when I hit share on the Video Ninja, I think it created a whole new link, so it should be a different link this time than the next one.
Okay.
But if you look at my page, it should be there on my page.
Okay.
And I think I shared it to both my page and to the Your Team Sucks page.
Okay.
Recording device line 2. Let me see. Check 1 2 1 2. Check. All right. Good. All right. That's that. That's that. All right. That is recording over there as well. All right. Are you ready? Or are you still sharing?
Still working on sharing, but we can probably yeah, give me like 1 second.
That's fine.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm recording everywhere else, so we are ready to go. So, hey, Mike, can you throw me a Hail Mary pass with no time left on the clock?
Only if you're playing against the Bears.
Welcome to Your Team Sucks. It's week 8. If you didn't get that cold open reference, you should have watched the Washington.
And if you didn't want to watch it, it was just airing on NBC a second ago.
A second ago. Yeah, what a surprise. They just beat the Bears with no time left on the clock with a, what'd you say it was, a 40, 50, 60? How far did he throw that ball? I didn't even see. I just saw it was up there.
It was that's a good question. Split the difference. It was right around the 50-yard line.
Right around the 50-yard line. 50-yard Hail Mary pass right into a group of people, and
Knock it down! Knock it down!
they knocked it back into the end zone.
Nope.
And there was a Washington guy. Hey, look what's in my hands. It's a touchdown, folks. All right. Anyway, welcome y'all to Your Team Sucks, the podcast where football rivalry. Oh, this is darn it. Let me see something. Where football rivalries are at their finest and tempers are always flaring. I'm Rob. I'm in a pretty good mood right now. You're a diehard Cowboys fan, and trust me, I've got a lot to say about America's team.
And I'm Mike. Also in a really good mood because my team actually won so far this week.
My team did not lose for the past 2 weeks.
Well, didn't they lose?
No.
Well, they haven't played. Right. Yes, that's true because they haven't played yet this week.
They
And they
haven't played yet this week.
Right.
Yeah. Woo!
So anyway, I'm Mike, the one and only Eagles fanatic here to remind you that I root for two teams every week, the Eagles and whoever's playing for I got to root for the 49ers this week.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're here to break down the latest games, start some good-natured trash talk, and we want to make sure that everyone knows how incredible the Eagles are.
Yeah, they're incredible. Whatever. Buckle up because we're diving deep into the rivalry. They did well today. The rivalries, the stats, and everything in between. Whether you're wearing silver and blue or whatever I'm wearing right now, I'm not even wearing any Cowboys colors, or green and white like Mike's got his jersey on.
That's right.
We promise we'll give you an earful.
Yeah, and we got to talk about that, Rob. I'm a Temple alum, but are we getting a little worried about our Cowboys that we're not wearing? We're no longer showing our
Temple pride.
Fandom. Yeah, we're showing Temple pride instead of Cowboys pride. I mean, I don't blame you, but I'm just.
Well, if it means anything, the Temple football is not much better than the Cowboys football.
No, they are not.
But I'm a little under the weather. I got something. I've been taking a lot of Advil, cold and sinus, so it's been helping me out. Jay's in the chat saying, hey guys, what an ending. Yes, it was, Jay. It was an ending to that Washington game.
What's going on, Jay? I got a little something going on, but my daughter's had it. She's been it's been like 10 days going on. She's been fighting a fever. She missed her game yesterday. She played today's game for their soccer game. She actually won. It was the playoffs. It was it's double elimination, but it was like they're sitting in the championship game in the winners bracket. So the team that makes it's got to play tomorrow just to make it.
Okay.
They got two teams playing against each other, or not tomorrow, a Saturday.
Okay.
And they go and they wait to play the winner of that, and then they got to beat them twice. So their team's sitting pretty. Finally beat a team that they hadn't beat all year. So pretty proud of them. Pretty exciting. If I said a little horse, that's why the last two games they both went to kickoff or went to kickoffs, the shootouts.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, at least they won. They keep winning. Are you the coach or just a cheering dad on the sideline?
It depends on the day. No, I'm kind of an assistant coach, but
okay.
On game days I sit back a little bit more, but in the practices I step up and definitely
help out in the practices.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, that's good. Jay also says that's awesome, Mike. So we're cheering for you and your daughter. Go all the way, win the Stanley Cup or whatever they have for little girl soccer. So,
yeah, I don't know either.
And before I start to cry, let's talk about where people can find us. You can check us out on YouTube. If you're like Jay, you're watching us right now at Your Team Sucks. Instagram, Your Team Sucks Pod, and on Facebook, Your Team Sucks Podcast.
Yeah, you can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon for now. We need your help. Please rate us whenever you listen. The more ratings we get, the better it is for us. And please go to YouTube and follow us there. Now for the fun stuff. Rob, yes, we talked about this already. No Cowboys game in 2 weeks. Well, at least there's going to be a game that's just they're just starting up now.
Yes, I have it on the iPad.
Yeah.
So that I can watch. Hopefully for over the next hour, you don't see my mood drastically change. Although this would be good. Like a lot of the YouTubes do that, reveal like watching the show live. This is watching a Cowboys fan possibly fall apart live hour. So
I think it happens. I think they fall apart now. I mean, it's only going to be 45 minutes, so
yeah,
we'll see how much damage can be done in that time frame. But that being said,
that being said, yeah, the Cowboys had off last week, thank goodness. Although my cousin was nice enough, he said Jay took the Cowboys to win with the points. So I like the Cowboys. I think they have a shot. I think this is the best thing for us right now. We're a little dinged up. But we got Dalvin Cook is playing finally for the Cowboys, so that should be
oh, how
interesting.
about that? Is he taking the place of Zeke?
I guess so. It's 1,000 Facebook posts are about him coming to play this week. He's ready to go finally. So
Okay.
I don't know if he was injured or if it was just they didn't have the room for him, which I don't know why, but whatever. But yeah, so he's supposed to be activated this week. And 49ers have some big injuries, apparently, which is the best thing that the Cowboys can do is play a team who's injured. That will help us.
Yeah, they're two receivers. The one's out for the year, and the second guy's got a pneumonia, and then their third receiver's out. Kittle, it looks like, is playing, but he's banged up. So I mean,
Yeah.
you got Ayuk out, you got Debo out, you got what's Juwan Jennings, I believe is his name. He's out. McCaffrey's not due back until next week. They probably even would have considered using him at wide receiver this week.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know who they're throwing to.
I'm happy because it gives because I don't know who's going to run the ball for the Cowboys. So I'm happy that we don't know who's going to be who the 49ers are going to be throwing to. So yeah, so last week the Cowboys had a bye. I was going to say my cousin sent me a Facebook link that said the Cowboys scored 19 points. The rest of the teams in the bye or something scored more. So the Cowboys still lost without even playing. It was some kind of bad Cowboys joke. I said thanks for that and rubbing it in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, we didn't lose last week, which was a good thing. And as of now, as we said, the Cowboys haven't started yet. So I have nothing to complain about over the past 2 weeks, except Jerry Jones is still the owner, and he's still the GM, and he still thinks that he's untouchable. So yeah, that I could still complain about, but I have high hopes for tonight's game, so I'm excited. I hope Dak shows up. Oh, I joined all of these Dallas Cowboy Facebook groups and stuff.
Right.
And tell me if the Eagles do this also, but there's all these comparisons over the last 8 games, Dak Prescott versus uh the Kansas City's quarterback. And I'm like, yeah, there's a big difference though.
Yeah, there's a
Statistically,
lot of I've seen a lot of these types of things like they've compared it like over the years and
yeah,
whatnot. But at the end of the day, everybody's gonna talk about how bad Prescott's or not Prescott, how bad Mahomes has looked this year and this and that, and he's not the reason that they're winning. Blah 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 blah.
right.
Look, the team's 7-0 right now.
Yeah,
He isn't lighting the world on fire, but when they need to play, he's the one making it.
he's
I
the
know that
one.
they're also bitching about the refs, but you know what? This is what happens when you're the king of the hill.
Yeah.
Everybody's taking shots at you. That's
Yep.
just the way it goes. Our my other podcast, the Corner Pub Sports Podcast, Ryan and really Sean, and they're hating on Mahomes a lot. I get the hate. I get some of the nuances, the head to the side, the nuances, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day, uh, you know, we just talked about the fact that we would trade Hurts, Brown, and Saquon from Holmes.
From a home.
So
100%. Yeah.
so there's obviously some hate going on there, but you can't knock him. I mean,
No.
he's he's the current goat.
Right. Yeah. And until they lose, and until he does something so drastic to make them lose, he's still, he may not be the Mahomes of 3 years ago when they had no defense and he had to throw, 400, 500 yards a game or whatever it was, ridiculous amounts, and you know, airing it out 70 yards on a pass and running every other play, and the underhand shuffle passes that he was doing, the behind the back passes, like
Yeah, He'll still do that every once in a while. He'll
He
still
still
make those
tries.
plays every
Yeah.
once in a while, but at the end of the day, he's playing to the strengths of the team. He's
Yeah.
giving the team what they need to win. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Brady had years that were phenomenal, and Brady had years where he didn't light the world on fire.
Right. But
But
as long as they kept winning, it didn't matter.
right,
And right now, they're still winning. They're 7-0. So he doesn't have to be the MVP. They have enough talent around him and enough talent on defense and even special teams for that matter that he doesn't have to be the greatest quarterback. He just has to be a very smart quarterback. And as long as he's a smart quarterback, they're going to keep winning. Jay says, "I like him or not, he is a winner," which is true. And that's the thing. I don't know if Dak is a winner because when the pressure situations, Dak hasn't done well in those pressure situations. But
correct. Yeah,
at this point, there's no other quarterback that we can get that's going to be better than him. Um, like everybody wants Mahomes on their team, no matter who it is.
right.
It's like you're lying to me if you say you don't want Mahomes on your team. You know, like every other team would say, "Yeah, I'll take him." But you can't get him. So Dak is the best that's available to us and the best that we have, and the
You're
Cowboys.
usually not bad enough to be in a position to draft a quarterback
Right.
high.
Right.
So it's you go with what you got,
Yeah.
and you hope that it kind of pans out for
Yeah.
you guys.
Uh,
You hope. I
me.
continue to enjoy the fact that he
that
he
he falls
does pretty
apart,
well in the it does pretty well in the regular season, but falls in the playoffs.
but falls apart in the playoffs.
It'll never get old to me.
No, no, not to you. To me, it will, but not to you.
Yeah,
Corner Pub Sports says that Mahomes was decent today. He was decent today. And when they needed him to step up, he stepped.
yeah.
And
Now,
that
granted, against a bad Raiders team, a lot of people look decent. Although I don't know, their defense is probably pretty deep, pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah, their defense was good, and this is going into what our main topic is going to be later on, which is pretenders versus contenders. And even though the Raiders' record isn't good, they played really well today, and I feel like especially in either conference, when you're the team on top, when you are the Super Bowl champions, you're going to get everybody else's best team. So even the Raiders, who have their one win or two wins, whatever they have right now, they're going to give you the best that they have. Raiders are 2-6 now, and they're in the division. They're in the AFC West with the Chiefs. So
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's what I think it comes down to. It is a situation. Oh, it looks like Debo might play. It is a situation where it's a division game, and
yeah,
division games are always tough. They're always tight,
yep,
especially a game like that. The the Raiders are going to give the Chiefs fits
yeah,
regardless. It's just
regardless,
the way it is.
yep.
Uh,
I have a question for you. Speaking of the Raiders, and maybe you guys know, since I don't know if you guys covered this on Corner Pub Sports or not, but Tom Brady is now declared a minority owner of the Raiders, but he's still broadcasting games.
Very interesting. Yes.
Obviously, he's not going to be able to I would assume, obviously, he's not going to be able to broadcast any Raiders games. But how is he still able to do so? How is he still able to announce and be an owner? Does his ownership not take effect yet, or what's the deal? Do you know? Did you guys talk about it on Friday?
No, we didn't talk about it on Friday, but I did see something about that. It was kind of almost a sarcastic, well played Brady thing,
Okay,
where he's, you basically now with doing this have a $1 billion job and you don't have to do it.
right.
It's saying that he can no longer critique teams.
Okay,
He can no longer go into like locker rooms or like there's certain facilities or certain areas that he's no longer allowed to go into.
okay,
Uh, so there's a there's a couple other things like that. So when he took over ownership, there were caveats and things that needed to be signed off on by him
Okay.
in general to keep the job that he has. I think he's just okay as an announcer.
Right.
I don't understand the $1 billion that he's getting. He's got an okay personality. Again, I don't think that he's, I'm not
Right.
trying
I
to shit on him.
No.
I think he's okay. Like he's
Well, he's
got
also
enough of a personality.
TB12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So like he could have zero personality whatsoever. And just the fact that you got Tom Brady announcing the games, people are going to want to listen because he's Tom Brady.
Right.
It's kind of like when they show Taylor Swift at a Kansas City Chiefs game.
Speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs game, that was the game, and we were just talking about it. This is the first week that the game wasn't actually on. It wasn't televised in this local Philadelphia area. My wife was so upset.
Oh,
She
okay.
hates football. Will not watch
Wants to
the
see Taylor.
Eagles, but she'll sit and watch the Chiefs. It's
She's waiting for to see Taylor Swift, or
well,
or is it because she knows uh, Taylor Swift's boyfriend, so that's why she wants to watch it because she's now
yeah, it's she's always thought that Travis Kelsey was attractive, so that plays a big role into it. And
okay.
now she's a Travis Kelsey fan, and
Uh huh.
she's become my daughter's a big Taylor Swift fan, so my wife is I suppose as well at this
Sure.
point.
Yeah.
So between those two things, and now liking Patrick Mahomes and the whole
Right.
Brady Mahomes thing, and there's a lot of those different things that are going on that leads her to be a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, I
Uh,
understand. Yeah, and it's funny
I
because
understand it, but it annoys me because I've
yeah,
been begging her to
you've
watch
been
the
making
Eagles
her
for
to watch
years,
Eagles.
and
Yeah.
she like out of nowhere for no reason that I had nothing to do with. She's a fan of the Chiefs.
She's like, when did the Chiefs come to town? You're like, they don't. They're in the
Yes.
other conference.
Well, that is interesting. I wonder what would happen if the Eagles and Chiefs ended up playing. If she'd actually want to go to the game. Well, it'd have to be a perfect situation. It couldn't be too hot. It couldn't be too cold. It couldn't be sunny.
It could
Yeah, it'd have
it
to be
could
like
be
an
anytime
evening
after
game. Yeah,
October. A Sunday night game will not work. Monday night game, forget about it. It's definitely going to be too cold then.
right.
It can't be a pre. She probably would enjoy a preseason game, except Travis Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes wouldn't play in a preseason game.
Correct.
So then
Yes.
she'd be like, well, "You took me to this, and they didn't even play." Um,
Yes.
yeah, so I understand. Um, it's weird. Corner Pub Sports is in the chat, and they said it's weird because Brady has owned the Raiders for 20 years. Which
Well, this is
this
true.
is true. Yeah, he has done that. And Jay says, Mike, he's just okay. He is just okay. He and I don't know if like the whole season he wasn't in the allowed to go to those midweek conferences where he's able to talk to the players or not because they knew that he was thinking about trying to become an owner of the Raiders. But he definitely is missing some of those deep dives, I guess, as you could say, like, that they're, uh, this wide receiver, when I talked to him on Wednesday, he was telling me that he can't wait to do this, like Tom Brady has none of those comments that he can throw out there.
Right.
So he is just commenting on just what's happening on the field at the time. So whatever. And then Jay says that your wife is a Swiftie. So that's
She
that.
is. She is
She
a Swiftie. Yeah, both of them. My wife and daughter are
and daughter are
Swifties.
Swifties.
Yeah, my daughter for Halloween obviously is going to be Taylor Swift.
No
She's
Swift.
got an "I got a lot going on" shirt, which I don't understand what that
I don't.
means, but "I got a lot going on" at the moment is a Taylor Swift shirt, and she's
Okay.
going to wear
And
that
so
with a
that's what
hat
she's
and
gonna wear.
you know
Makes perfect
big
sense.
short shorts that I don't think that should be worn, but
It only gets worse. Trust me. My daughter is 17 now, so it doesn't get any better.
yeah, I'll bet.
I think my daughter's shorts are probably the same length as your daughter's shorts are. So,
Yeah,
and she's a foot and a half taller than her.
right.
So that's the Cowboys rundown. We did nothing.
Yeah,
We
I
had
mean,
like,
you were just talking about the fact that you have nothing to complain about with the Cowboys because they hadn't played in 2 weeks. The Eagles have played twice in the past 2 weeks, and I don't have anything to complain about with them. They
eh,
have been well. Okay, I mean, you could
ha-
complain about the fact that they haven't scored in the first quarter.
yes,
Still,
they have not scored in the first quarter in any of the 6 games this season. They even said that on the red zone And I'm pretty sure Scott Hansen is from Philadelphia and a huge Eagles fan, and he still threw that out there. So I was very
Yes.
proud that he did that. Yeah, so it looked like they were going to, and then time ran out today. So that is interesting that in 6 games you haven't scored in the first quarter, but you have made up for it in the second half, especially today. Uh,
Yes.
I thought who did you play last week? I forget
So
already.
we played the Giants.
The Giants.
We
Yeah.
have 2 games where we've won by 20 plus points
Well, the
in a row.
Giants don't count. I don't care. The Giants are awful. They until they beat the Cowboys, which as I'm saying this now, they probably
It's
will because
possible. Yeah.
it's possible. But the Giants are, in my opinion, the worst 2-5 team in the league. They look like they don't know what they're doing half of the time. The Panthers at 1-7, and who else? Titans 1-6.
We talked about the Raiders
And the
being.
Raiders are too. Yeah, so I think the Giants are
There's
awful.
some bad teams out there.
There are some bad teams out there. So last week's win, I didn't even watch your game because I was like, oh, Giants are going to win or Giants are going to lose. So who cares? But Saquon had a big game against his former team, which
It
was nice.
was now, mind you, that game's in New York, and then they played in Cincinnati. So they've also won 2
Road game.
away games. They've won 2 road games in a row, which is good. They were actually an underdog today.
Yeah.
It was the game against the Giants was a big one.
Yeah.
They had just beaten Cleveland the week before that, and the town was not impressed with the win. Sirianni got into it with fans.
Yeah, he was yelling at the fans.
Right. It was
And
a
they
little bit of a
apologized.
it was a little bit of a powder keg situation. It
Uh-huh.
looked like, and it was a division game again away against a bad team, or
Yeah.
at least a team that everyone thinks is bad. So you get into that situation, and if you didn't win that game, this
Yeah.
season could have unraveled.
Oh yeah, it could have unraveled real quick, and the
Right.
fans could have. There could have been an uproar. Um, Light poles would have been pulled down in the streets of Philadelphia. It would have been really really ugly if you guys would have lost that. But yeah,
But we didn't. Instead,
it
we
didn't.
won. We won convincingly. We dominated, and
Like
then
it
we
wasn't
carried
even.
over.
Yeah, it wasn't even a question. Like it wasn't even in doubt. Like today's game, the first half of today's game, I was like, "Ooh, the Bengals are going to win. I'm going to be really excited for tonight's podcast." And
No, it's funny. I didn't think at any point. I don't know if the Bengals were they up 10. They
I think
they
they were
might
up
have been up
10.
10.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. And then the Eagles scored, and then I looked at it and I said, they score here and tie the game and get the ball back to start the second half. I think we're okay.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, that's what they ended up doing. They ended up scoring there. They ended up tying the game, and then dominated the entire second half.
yeah. The
The
second half was ugly for the Bengals. They looked like they were the Cowboys out there in the second half.
it was interesting that everyone like the announcers were making a big deal about the time of possession, this and that, and look how many more plays were run, and it
Yeah,
was like
because they ran a 10-minute first quarter drive. It was a slow, methodical drive all the way down the field to score a touchdown. And yeah, the time of possession is going to be skewed when you have one drive that takes that long, 10
right.
minutes and 4
And
seconds.
the Eagles came back with a nice 5-minute drive. They
Yeah.
they cashed in with a field goal. They didn't get the touchdown. But then the next drive was another methodical long drive. I think
Uh-huh.
that
Well,
ended up with a
it
field
was a
goal as
field
well.
goal, 4.5 minute field goal. Yeah. So they still had it, and then that for a while. So I mean, you're looking at 15 minutes versus 5 minutes, but you're only down by 7. Like it's not like they have it for 15 minutes to your 4 minutes, and you're down by 3 touchdowns.
Right. The Eagles didn't have a 3 and out. Like it wasn't like there's 2-3. It wasn't like the Tampa game, which
Right.
was kind of like a where as much as we were picking on you about the game against who was it? Seattle? No. Was it
No,
Seattle?
the one that we lost. We played the Lions. The one we lost to the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions. Okay,
The Lions.
right.
Yeah.
The game that you lost that I said was kind of a throwaway, the tape game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was kind of what that was for the Eagles, that Tampa game.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Lions have not seemed to slow down much
No.
since then. They
No.
look. We're going to talk more about contenders and pretenders coming
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. They're on my list. They're definitely on my list of contenders. But so yeah. So then you guys punted. They missed a field goal, which was nice. A 44-yard. Nope.
No, that was a 54
54
yard.
yard
So we
field
got
goal. Yeah. 54-yard. He missed a field goal.
right, and that got us in great field position
Right.
at
And
the
then you
44-yard
scored
line, and that's we marched down the field, scored right before the half. They didn't have any
15,
time you have to do anything, and
15 plays in 4 minutes, as opposed to their first drive of 19 plays in 10 minutes. So
right.
you don't need to hold the clock if you can move the ball. Who cares if you do it in 4 minutes or if you do it in 10 minutes?
Yeah, but you know what the thing is that 4-minute drive was also a long drive, and and they started at the 44-yard line, and they still ended up eating the clock to the point where Cincinnati wasn't going to be able to get the ball back and counterpunch
Right.
before the half.
Yeah.
So the Eagles got to do that. What do they call that? That double dip or whatever they call it when they get a score on the first.
Score at the last drive and also on the first drive of the
Yep.
third quarter. Yeah. Yeah. Which is what you guys did. You scored at the beginning of the third quarter. Then the Bengals got a touchdown. Then you got a touchdown back. Then they did turnover on downs, 5-play drive. Shotgun James or Burrow pass short right to Chase for -2 yards.
That's
I
right. I
remember.
remember. Yep.
Yeah,
That was a big play. That was
it was huge. Yeah, because if they would have got that, they could have got the game closer. But instead, you guys go down and get a field goal right after it, and now suddenly the game is out of reach.
right.
And then
Yes,
interception.
Devontae Smith with that.
Mm.
I think that was that wasn't right after the half. I think that was the score right the next score after that one.
Yeah. You guys scored a field goal to start the fourth quarter. Four plays for 6 yards. So that must have been. Was that a turn? Oh, that was after the turnover on downs because it was really deep in their end. And then they threw an interception. Then you got a touchdown. Then they fumbled. Then you got a field goal, and then ended the fourth quarter. So at the second half in the fourth quarter, you guys scored every single time you had the ball, and they either intercepted or fumbled every single time they had the ball. So yeah, you
Or
guys
turnover down, right? Yep.
or turnover on downs. Yeah. So as much as I don't want to admit it, I was hoping that the Eagles were going to stink it up and the Bengals were going to win. What do you think of the Bengals' white uniforms, by the way? I like them. I like the white helmet.
I'm good with it. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool.
I think it's cool. And I also liked it was like a Penn State whiteout game. But it was neat when they see the crowd and it was all white except for all the green Eagles jerseys that you saw.
We travel.
Yeah, so that was cool. Look, I give you credit. Like you guys did a great job this week. So Sirianni is not fired this week by the fans.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting. I haven't heard that as much anymore. Like it seems like that's been silent. It's amazing what happens. The guy can't coach. He's an absolute clown.
Yeah,
he needs to be gone as soon as possible. And now you just don't hear it anymore. It's pretty amazing how quickly that changes.
Yeah, you got two wins in a row. So three wins in a row. I guarantee the next loss, somebody is going to, because what's going to happen is it's going to be a bad play that causes the loss. And if it's a bad play that causes the loss, like a 49ers field goal to go up 3-0, if it's a bad play that causes the loss, then definitely all the haters are going to come out right away. But if it's a loss that happens because it's a loss, you're playing the Lions or something like that or whatever, then it's like then there won't be the fire Sirianni chant. There will be the what happened to our team chant.
Sure.
But I don't think it'll be as fierce. But if it's something stupid where like you're down by 2 points, and instead of going for the field goal, he decides to do the tush push because it always works, and it doesn't, and they get stopped. Then suddenly, and you're in field goal range, whatever. Then so
Yeah, I don't think it would be the tush push, but it would definitely be like a 4th and 3 where they're going to try and ice the game instead of just taking the points and going up by more than a field goal, uh, making them have to score a touchdown, and would definitely cause that angst and the fan base
to get
call him an idiot.
yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I have a feeling that at some point this season that will happen, and the Eagles fans will be angry again. But until then, you guys you're fine. He's a good coach. Everybody's happy. You have 3 wins in a row. You can't, and and it, you can't complain when you're winning. Like I mean, you could, but why? Like at the end of the day, you get a W in the book. You get a W in the book. It doesn't matter if you win on a Hail Mary or if you win by 45 points like the Lions do. It's still a W. So
Yep.
you got 3 of them, and we are losing 3-0 right now, but it's early, so it doesn't matter.
Yes.
All right, so that's the rundown of what happened over the past 2 weeks. Eagles, Cowboys, and Jay says, by the way, he says the Lions are the real deal. You think so, Jay? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, we play along with us. Anybody that wants to comment along to see,
Yeah,
yeah,
we're gonna go over our pretenders and our contenders. So get your list ready of who you think are true contenders and who are pretenders.
yeah,
I'll,
and
I'll,
we're gonna stick to teams that are either have winning records
right.
or are prominent or
Yeah.
teams that should be in the discussion. We'll say
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to go with the Patriots as a contender because
correct.
that's not.
Yeah, that's just gonna waste our time.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
so yeah,
uh,
I mean, I could go down the line. I got all the games. I'm just going to go down. I got the pick 'em that I do every week, and I'm just going to go down the line of the games and pick teams that are uh, good
well,
and bad.
well, before we do that, we got to go through this date in history.
Oh,
Cowboys
that's right.
Eagles.
I'm sorry. Go. Yeah.
I found a great website, champsorchumps.us. And uh, this is under the category of NFL Dallas Cowboys head to head versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And this is the Eagles Cowboys head to head matchup all time between these two teams. So, which is great because it has it listed by week. So, in week 7 in 2019, the Cowboys and the Eagles played, and the Cowboys won 37-10. So I'm just going to go through a couple of these because I found it very interesting, the week 7 matchups and week 8 matchups. Week 8 of 2016, the Cowboys won 29-23 in overtime. You might be able to see a trend here, and I'm not skipping any. I can post the link. Oh, here we go. In 2013, the Cowboys won 17-3 in week 7. In week 8 in 2011, the Eagles won 34-7. So there you go. You have your first Eagles win in a week 7 or week 8 matchup. And then for many, many years, we didn't play each other in week 7 or week 8 until 1994. And the Eagles won that game 24-13.
No, there you go.
Yeah. And that was like, let's see if.
All any of these games.
Um, so
Right.
I'm looking. No. That's what so in 1994, Cowboys finished the regular season 12-4. They went 6-2 at home, 6-2 on the road. Cowboys won 13-5. The final game was a loss in the conference chance to the 49ers. I don't recall the Eagles matchup. The 94. Let's look this one up. The Eagles matchup on 10-16-94 versus the Eagles. Actually, I have where is it? Nope. Hold on. Here we go. The 37-10 game in 2019 has the come on. Sorry. Oh, now it's all messing me up here. Um Final. Carson Wentz was your quarterback. He threw for 191 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Dak Prescott, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Ezekiel Elliott ran for 111 yards. Jordan Howard was your leading rusher with 50 yards.
Oof.
Do you remember?
Tough years.
Do you remember Jordan Howard?
A little bit.
Okay, I don't know.
But only a little bit.
Yeah, that must have been his only game that he played well in. Dallas Goedert had 69 yards receiving and a touchdown for your leading receiver. Our leading receiver was Amari Cooper. So that was the 2019 game. Let me go back to the 1994 game. Because I have a feeling this was a good one. Because we're talking
that was still the Aikman years.
Yeah, the Aikman years and stuff. Cowboys 24, Eagles 13. Oh, no. It says no scoring plays available on ESPN. Let's go to box score. Oh, here we go. Randall Cunningham.
How about that?
Versus Troy Aikman. Randall Cunningham for the Eagles. He threw for 198 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. Troy Aikman.
Oh, speaking of interceptions, Dak just threw one.
Oh, a nice high pass all the way down to the 8-yard line where the wide receiver wearing red catches the ball.
Yes.
Dak, we're in white jerseys this week, just to let you know. Super. All right, Troy Aikman, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Philadelphia Eagles rushing, Charles Gardner.
Oh, Charlie.
Charlie Gardner, 57 yards. James Joseph, 52 yards and a touchdown. Randall Cunningham had 2 carries for 12 yards. And Vaughn Hebron, 1 carry for 3 yards.
How about that?
Your receivers, wait till you see who your first receiver is. The guy who built the Cowboys franchise, Herschel Walker, 5 receptions for the Eagles.
He was a receiver?
He was a running back, but he caught 5 receptions.
Right.
His longest was 32. Yeah, so he must have nice screen pass that he ran for 32 yards.
There you go.
Alvin Williams, 2 receptions, 48 yards.
Fred Barnett.
Fred Barnett. Yep, Fred Barnett was there. He had 3 receptions. Mark Bavaro had 2 receptions.
Bavaro, that's right. We got him from the Giants for a year.
Yeah, he had 2 receptions, 21 yards, average of 10.5 yards. The Cowboys had Alvin Harper with 4 receptions and 52 yards. Michael Irving, 2 receptions, only 33 yards. Jay Novacek, what a great guy he was. He was awesome. 3 receptions, 30 yards. Darryl Johnson, the Moose, 1 reception for 15 yards. Emmitt Smith ran 26 times for 106 yards and a touchdown. 26 times. His longest run was 12 yards. He was a running machine. He said Jay says Walker was great out of the backfield for you guys.
Yeah.
And then we had Lincoln Kales Coleman had 3 carries for 4 yards. Darryl Johnson had 1 carry for 3 yards. Fumbles. Mark Stepnowski had 1 fumble. I guess it must have been a fumble on the
snap or something.
Snap. Yeah. Randall Cunningham had one fumble. Defense. Byron Evans for you had 7 solo tackles. He was the big one. Bill Romanowski had 5. I remember him.
Yeah, man, that guy was a cokehead. That guy was crazy.
He was crazy. Robert Jones for the Cowboys had 5 tackles. Dixon Edwards had 5 tackles. And Darren Woodson had 4 tackles. For Larry Brown, Leon Lett. I remember Leon Lett. Do you remember Leon Lett had the best play in the Super Bowl of all time when he got an interception or fumble recovery, ran it all the way down to the 5-yard line,
and fumbled.
Was celebrating at the 5-yard line, and Don Beebe chased him down, swatted it out of his hand, and prevented him from getting the touchdown against the Buffalo Bills.
And then it being a touchback the other way.
Touchback the other way. The Cowboys didn't score. They were already winning by like 30 or something like that at the time. But Don Beebe, I still give him mad props and so much credit. He was such a player. He didn't quit. He didn't give up that whole game. And this was like late. This is like the 4th quarter of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like
game was already out of hand. Yeah.
Game was out of hand. The ads were, only worth half the value they were in the first quarter. And Don Beebe was like, "Nope, I am not letting them score another touchdown." So I give him lots of props for that. So this goes way back to '94. So this is a fun flashback. Fun for me. The Cowboys won 24-13. The Cowboys were 5-1 at the time. The Eagles were 4-2 at the time. So it was a good head-to-head matchup there. So that'll be this week in Dallas Cowboy Philadelphia Eagles history. I'm sure we're going to find some in the next upcoming weeks where the Eagles do much better than the Cowboys, and then I won't be able to be as excited. But it was fun seeing all these old names and being like, "Oh, those were the days."
Even that is cool. Kind of going back down memory lane a little bit.
Yeah. All right, so now let's break into our main topic for the night, which are who are the contenders and who are the pretenders. And you start, and then I'll throw in my 2 cents as you go.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go with the Thursday night game that had the Minnesota Vikings playing. Would have went to 6-1 if they won. Looked like they had control of the game. Ended up losing, so they went from 5-0 to now 5-2. This game was in LA.
They played the Rams, or did they play? They played
the Rams. Yes, correct.
Yeah, so, and they're now 3-4.
The Rams are now 3-4, so they really don't count in this discussion. So
yeah, dude, Vikings with a loss to the Rams, does that bring them out of the discussion, or do you think they still have a shot?
I'm going to say that they're not in the discussion. When they were 5-0, I started to kind of think that they were contenders. I just can't get behind Sam Darnold being a legit championship type quarterback. So I can't put them as a contender.
And they're also right now could be the toughest division in football, the NFC North, because you have the Lions, the Packers, the Vikings. I mean, the Vikings at 5-2 are in third place in their division. So that just goes to show like how tough it is. And the Bears lost today, but they're
the Bears would have won if they could have knocked it down.
Knock the ball down.
Don't try and catch it. Just knock it down.
Oh God!
Don't let it go. Like the last thing that you want to do is get your hands up and let the ball bat backwards.
No, and it's like things, just simple fundamentals.
You have one job.
You know what they're doing. You know what your goal is. You're not going to try and catch it and run it back for a touchdown. You don't need that. All you need to do, time is going to run out. You just need to make sure the ball hits the ground. That's all you need to do. And you did it the wrong way. Whatever. Why would you think that somebody wouldn't be standing in the end zone? Or who cares? Whatever. All right. So the Bears are not in the discussion.
But that does hurt both the Eagles and Cowboys.
Yeah. It's definitely going to hurt us. Whoever doesn't win the NFC East.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt the rest of the NFC East because the NFC North is so packed that it is going to be difficult for any other team to get into the playoffs if you don't win your division.
Right.
So that's a Thursday game. I think with that loss, we're 7 games in. We're a little less than halfway there. The Vikings could turn around and finish the season with only 2 losses. They still have games against the Packers and Detroit that they need to play, so they could turn around and become a contender, but I don't think so either.
Okay, sounds good. So the next one that we have is another tough call to make and another purple team.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Started out terrible. I think they started out 0-2, went on a 5-game win streak, and now they lost to the Browns.
Yeah, which is a division game, so division games are always tough.
Jameis Winston's playing instead of Watson.
Right. But the Ravens, who dismantled the Cowboys, although they're only down 3-0.
For now,
yeah. Yeah, because we're going to score a touchdown.
Is driving.
We're going to interception. We're going to get an interception. We're going to run it back for a touchdown. We're going to take the lead because I have faith in the Cowboys. I thought
keep doing that.
I thought Baltimore was definitely going to be a contender. The first two games, people were really talk about calling for the coach's head. They were calling for Harbaugh's head big time. They're like, "What is he doing? Get him out of here. This is ridiculous." Then they went on the 5-game winning streak, and surprisingly, same thing.
All's right in the world, yeah.
All's right in the world when you're winning. Um, but yeah, they uh, like when the Ravens played the Cowboys. Now it could just be the Cowboys' defensive scheme is just so bad. I'm not sure. Almost got an interception, but we couldn't stop the option. We couldn't stop um, King Henry. King Henry had a big game today, also, even though they
He had 70 some yards and a touchdown. For
okay.
him, that's not a big game because every week he scored a touchdown.
He's,
So
yeah. But yeah. So I think right now they're one game behind Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh has one less game played. I think they could still win the AFC North. So I'm still putting them in the contender, not pretender list.
okay,
That's me.
I think that's fair. Tough one.
Quarterback play.
I will say contender. I will say that they, although they have not proven anything in the playoffs yet for years with Lamar Jackson, so that has
Well,
me thinking, wondering about it.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that is true. I don't know.
the
But
the next game we'll move on. If
yeah, let's move on.
the next game is a slam dunk, I think that we both agree that the Detroit Lions look like the cream of the crop in the NFC right now.
Yes, 100%. I don't see any team in the NFC even being able to come close. Now, the only thing I can see maybe Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, because it's a division game. And when they have the game, I don't know if they played each other yet in Lambeau, but playing in Lambeau, a division game, is always tough for an opposing team.
Yeah,
But I think, I mean, they scored 40 something points again today. They, I mean, their points for 234 points for to 134 points against.
yeah, that's
So
pretty.
they outscored their opponents by 100 points.
Yeah,
Um,
that's pretty significant.
that's
So
significant. The Cowboys are negative 42. That's how good the Cowboys are. Let's go, boys.
there you
Hoorah.
go.
How about them Cowboys?
So I don't think that I would put the Cardinals at 4-4 in a. They did um,
No.
beat Miami in Miami, so they're not a contender.
Yeah,
We
I
got
mean,
the
the NFC West makes the NFC East look like the cream of the crop. Cardinals 4-4, Seattle Seahawks 4-4, Rams 3-4, 49ers 3-4, soon to
right.
be 4-4. I mean 3-5. Um, so yeah, the NFC West. This always not always, but this happens a lot. There's always one division that is horrible.
Yep.
The team that wins the division, we've had it numerous times, where the
Has that
team
a losing or the
has a
same
losing
or a
record,
losing record? Yep.
and everybody's upset that their team, the Cowboys, have to travel to Arizona in the playoffs.
Yep.
The Cowboys are 12-5, and Arizona is 6-7, and this is
Yeah, they're 7-9 or whatever.
or whatever.
Now it would be 8-9 because they added the
They have
17th
the
game.
extra game, yeah. So, but yeah, look, I understand it does stink, and like you're not going to realign the way the playoff system works the years that there's a team that doesn't have a winning record but wins the division.
Yeah.
Like, and you're not going to say, oh, well, just the top 8 teams make it. Well, then why have divisions at all? Like,
Right. It is what it is. I mean,
yeah,
it's that's just the way that it goes some years.
that's the
So
way it goes. And if
yeah.
that's the case, then just go to Arizona and win the game. And then,
Right.
if it works out that way, you upset them, and then maybe you're that good that you have a home game later on because there may be other upsets going on.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I don't see anybody in the NFC West being a contender. Even whoever wins the division still won't be a contender as of this point.
Yep.
All right.
All right, I know we got a few to go through, so we'll try and go through them a little more quickly. We got the Falcons at 5-3 and the Bucks at 4-4. Can't say that I think that either one of these are
No.
contenders. both could win a playoff game. Both could make the playoffs. Could win a playoff game, but that's one win is about the furthest that I could see that.
Yeah, I think whoever goes and obviously faces the Lions is going to lose no matter when they face them. Uh, even the Packers, even if Minnesota makes it as the third team, they could because the NFC South and NFC West looks so bad that it looks like only the um, division winners are going to make the playoffs. But
Yeah,
even a Vikings team I could see them upsetting a Falcons or a Bucks team in the playoffs. So
right. On the being that the team's on the road. Yeah,
right,
that they're
yeah,
the road team that's going in. Okay.
yeah,
So the Colts at 4-4, I think that they are. I don't think that they're very good at all.
no.
How about the Texans at 6-2?
The Texans are looking good. They went in the offseason and they did what the Cowboys didn't do, which was try to sign a lot of good players. And so I think they could be in the contender realm of teams. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time thinking that they're going to beat some of the top echelon teams. I mean, I would
Right.
still put the Ravens above them.
Yeah.
I think they're young and up and coming, but yeah, I'll give them the contender.
Yeah. I
Round.
I would give them like a fourth contender. Like
Right,
I think they'll win the first round of the playoffs, and then when they face a tougher team, they're probably losing the second round. But
right.
yeah, I think they have a decent shot of maybe upsetting somebody.
Okay. Uh, Bengals at 3-5. I don't think that they're contenders.
No, no, I think they needed this win. I think morale is going to be uh, down, and it's weird because they were really good last year, and I think the year before or the year before that. Like I feel like they go up and down. One year they're great, they have the same roster. Next year they're not, and then the year after that they're great again.
Yeah,
And
I think that Barrow is just okay. Like
yeah,
you want to call him a top 10 quarterback, maybe, but he's definitely on the lower end of the 10.
lower end of the top 10. Yeah,
He's not a um, he's not the that top echelon quarterback
no,
that everybody's kind of made him out to be.
yeah, I think he's definitely the bottom half of the second group of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Um, at best, yeah.
Okay, so moving on. How about the Eagles?
Um, as much as I don't want to say it, they did win this week very, very well. If they would have won a close game against the Bengals, I would say no. But it looks like they are figuring things out. It will be interesting. Eagles Washington matchup. That
Yeah,
I think that's going to decide if they're a contender or a pretender
right.
because Washington found a way to win today. And in my opinion, the contenders are the ones that find ways to win.
Yeah,
And if they didn't win today, I was going to say that Washington is not a contender; they're a pretender, and it's just going to be time before the Eagles or the Cowboys win in the division and take over that first place. But with them finding a way to win today, I think that the Commanders are going to be the number one team in the NFC East, but I definitely feel that the Eagles will be in the playoff hunt. They're going to have to travel to Atlanta or Arizona or something like that, but I think that they could be contenders because they look like they're starting to put things together. I mean, three in a row wins, you know, don't happen by accident.
sure.
So
Yeah,
winning,
yeah. I think they're a contender. I have a hard time thinking that they're going to be able to hold up to Detroit.
no, I don't think anybody. Although I did look it up, and Detroit is one of only a handful of teams that has never won a Super Bowl.
Yes,
So
along with the Falcons and a few other teams. But
yes,
so yeah, it's possible this.
the
I don't know. I don't even know if they've been to a Super Bowl.
No, they've never been to a Super Bowl. They've been to uh, NFL. Well, they won an NFL championship before 1970, but playoff appearances. The NFC. Where did I just see? Nope, it's up here somewhere. They NFL Western NFL, yeah, division champs. They won 5 division champs. NFL Central in 83, 91, and 93, and they won the NFC North in 2023. But they've never been to the Super Bowl at all, even
Okay.
not even winning or losing. They've never been there. They lost in the NFL Championship and whatever it's called. Yeah, the
Right. Pre Super Bowl championship.
pre Super Bowl championship. Yeah, they've never gotten past that. Um, and they following the 1957 championship, the Fran not win a playoff game until the 1991 season, and did not win another until the 2023 season. They're
Right.
the only franchise operation for the entirety of the Super Bowl era to not appear in the Super Bowl.
How about
So
that?
they've never appeared in the Super Bowl. They've only won 2 playoff games. So, will this be the year, or will the Lions curse continue? I
Yeah.
hope for them that they do something. They win a couple of games. They look strong enough right now that they could do it.
Yeah. I mean, losing Hutchinson was a big blow for them. But if it's not the Eagles, sure.
Yeah,
But the I guess right now that's the only team that I think I would put head and shoulders above
yeah.
the Eagles
In the
in the
NFC,
NFC.
I think the Lions are definitely the number one contender. Um, I don't know. The Packers are winning, but I don't know if are they winning
I think it
well.
depends. I mean, they're 6-2. One of their two losses was the first game of the season against the Eagles, so they've been 5-1 since, winning without Love a lot of those games. Love, I think, just got hurt again today, so I
Okay,
don't know what's going on there. I think that obviously a lot hinges on how he's feeling, but if Love is healthy, they're a contender.
yeah, I can see that. But if he's been injured twice in one season already, then he's going to have lingering pains and stuff. So I hope that he can get better for the Packers' sake. But yeah, I don't know. But I definitely put the Lions first. I want to say maybe even the Commanders second because
Wow.
they did pull out the win today, and
I can't go there. I still think that the Eagles are a better team than the Commanders,
all right,
especially with a rookie quarterback. Eventually, a lot of times they come back to earth. It's tough. It gets when things get uh, more complicated in the playoffs. That's when they.
true, because that's what happens to somebody with 3 letters. When it gets much more complicated, he crumbles under pressure,
Yeah,
and he ain't
he
no
just
rookie.
crumbled next to Bosa's sack there too.
He did that as
You'll
well.
see it. I'm probably ahead of you in
He
this
might be a
game.
little ahead of me on the iPad, yeah.
Yep.
Um, but it's probably coming up right now. Let's see. Yeah, this is a ripping them. Oh, there was a bunch of hard tackles today that I thought trying to get rid of. Watching the red zone, there was 3 or 4 different plays. I don't remember who it was, but they wrapped them up, spun them around in circles, and like threw the guys on their heads, which I thought that was supposed to be an immediate yellow card and personal foul and all that good stuff. But I saw like 3 times today some really, really rough tackles. I've also seen, which I'm happy about, and maybe you heard this. My wife was telling me about it. I've seen a lot more of the Guardian caps this week than I
Yes.
have in the past. And
I didn't realize that there was more of them, but yeah, I know that they are. I've seen them around.
yeah, and they asked Tua if he was going to wear one, and he said no. And then my wife said they asked him another question, and he just completely spaced out. And he was like, "Wait, what was that question?"
Right.
She was like, "You can't even hold a conversation. You can't even answer 2 questions in a row because your brain is so jumbled. But yet you won't put an extra padding on your helmet to try and
He
protect
should
your
like
brain."
yeah, we've talked about this. He
Yeah,
should retire. There's no reason that he should
there's
be
no
playing right
reason. No.
now.
So yeah, so I think I don't know. You don't think the Commanders? You think the Eagles are better than the Commanders? It'll be
I
interesting.
think the Commanders are a contender. Just my opinion. I think that they're better. They may
Right.
not be, but
Okay.
all right. Well, it looks like the
Um,
Cowboys are going to have the ball on the 1 yard line, so it looks
nice.
like we might take the lead on this one.
I like the fact that you're about 10 seconds ahead of me. So I like you predicting the future for me. You
Yeah,
see,
you'll see it soon enough.
just tell me, just bet me. Be like, I bet you that this guy
Yes.
scores a touchdown.
I wish I
So
was 10 seconds ahead of a betting app.
exactly. So we got two more teams that I would consider contenders. We got the Buffalo Bills.
Yep, the Buffalo Bills. We got the Seahawks at 4-4. I do not consider them
No.
contenders. I don't think that the Chargers, although the Chargers are 4-3, I mean that's better than what they've done.
Yeah.
We talked about the. I don't think that the Bears are.
No.
Oh, Zeke scored. There it is.
There it
You'll
is.
see it.
I'll see it in. I'm watching the incomplete pass right now
Okay.
and a flag. So they got him all the way down to the 1 yard line.
Yep.
And now they got does Zeke do the feed me still? Then he scored. Let's see what he says if he looks into the camera.
Nope. He's
No.
he's
Good.
just happy to be there right now.
Yeah, he's just happy that he's still making millions of dollars.
Yes.
All right.
So the Bears, no. Commanders, yes. Broncos at 5-3 are interesting.
Broncos are interesting. The only problem with the Broncos is who they're behind in the AFC West, which is the Chiefs.
The Chiefs are obviously a contender. I mean,
Yes.
right now it looks like the Chiefs and the Lions are in a crash course for each other.
Yes.
Some other teams could step in the way.
I think the Bills might be a struggle there for them. The Bills always play the Chiefs tough.
Yeah.
The Broncos might throw the Chiefs one loss. I don't think they're going to beat them 2 times.
Certainly not in the playoffs.
Not in the playoffs. Certainly not in the playoffs. The Houston Texans might give them a little bit of a run, but I don't think too much.
Okay.
I think only the Buffalo Bills could be a big hurdle for either of those two teams to face.
Okay.
And I'm actually one thing I got a sidetrack for a second. Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver Mike Gesicki. Remember you hear that guy?
He's a tight end, isn't he?
Tight end.
Penn State tight end.
Wide receiver. Yeah, Penn State tight end. He also went to school in New Jersey, and he was a 3-sport athlete: football, basketball, and volleyball. I coached against him when he was a sophomore. And as a sophomore, he was huge as a sophomore.
Yeah,
He's just a monster as a sophomore. I was like, oh my gosh. And so I've followed him. His volleyball coach and I talk a lot. And I always ask him, like, oh, have you talked to Mike? He's like, yeah, I talk to him all the time. I'm happy, although the Bengals I don't consider the under. I was really hoping that they were going to be. He's bounced around. He was on the Patriots last year.
Oh, was he? Okay. I thought that for some reason he was on Miami, but
he started in Miami and then last year got traded to the Patriots, or his contract ran out and the Patriots picked him up. And it was like he was on Miami when they were bad, and then he was on the Patriots when they were really bad.
It's a shame. He actually is somebody that kind of, it might be a little bit insulting, but he's been a bit of a bust. I expected more from him.
Yeah, and I think Miami expected more from him. When he was in New England, they didn't even throw to him. So I was like, oh, this is where he goes to die. He's 1 season in New England, and then he'll be out of the NFL. And then I saw he's on the Bengals. He did okay against the Eagles today. He had a couple of big catches.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that he has a nice turnaround season in Cincinnati. But like you said, he has been somewhat of, because he was so highly rated. He was like the number 1 tight end coming out of high school.
Yeah.
And then he was recruited to Penn State when they had the whole thing go down with the assistant coach and the all the bad things that the assistant coach was doing, where they lost half their scholarships and they lost they weren't going to be in the playoffs and all that stuff. He was a senior in high school at that time, and they were afraid that he wasn't going to go to Penn State because of that. And this was before the portal is the way it is today.
Right.
But because of this, they said any of the kids who committed to Penn State
Could have switched.
could
Yeah.
have switched. And he said no, he still wanted to go. He had a
Yeah.
good career at Penn State. So yeah, so I was always rooting for the kid. He was a good kid. He was, like I said, he was just a beast when I saw him as a sophomore. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like he was enormous then. So hopefully Cincinnati is where he starts to shine. Uh,
Yep.
but who knows? But anyway,
All right.
yeah,
Yeah. So we'll go through real fast. Go through the last three contenders.
last three contenders
Well, the last three
games.
pretender. Um,
Cowboys pretender.
Cowboys are one of them.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think that they're pretenders. Not just trying to hate. Just I haven't seen much that's given me faith. I'm going to say right now. Um, I'm going to say that San Fran's a pretender.
A pretender. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too. I don't think whoever wins this game tonight, it's going to change that. I think both of these teams. I think San Fran has too
Oh
many
wow!
injuries.
They just took back a long touchdown on a holding call.
Oh, okay, good. Because like you said, you're 10 seconds ahead of me. That
Yeah.
was wide open too. Maybe he was wide open because of the holding.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, let him go! Oh.
Holding.
Yeah, you'll see the play.
Yeah.
Um,
It was blatant holding.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah. All right, and then the last team that I have here, Pittsburgh Steelers, 5-2.
Um, I always have liked Pittsburgh's coaching mentality. Um, they're always going to be in the hunt, I think. Um, but I think they could be a first round playoff loss
If they
uh,
make it at all.
if they make it at all. Yeah, I think Baltimore is going to probably pass them for the AFC North, and then there's enough other teams they're going to have to keep winning to
Which is
give
interesting. I mean, Baltimore lost a golden opportunity. I mean, the Pittsburgh's playing the Giants. They have a good. They're likely going to be 6-2, and that's going to Baltimore's
yeah
going to be what
5-3, and they're going to be 6-2.
right.
So yeah, so they Baltimore needed that win today to keep it close, but yeah, I don't know. I think Pittsburgh will be a contender, but maybe not a Super Bowl contender, but definitely a playoff contender. I think they'll make it into the playoffs, but then probably first round loss or second round loss,
Okay.
and then be golfing after that. What about you?
Um. Yeah, I think that they're a pretender. I don't think that they're.
Okay,
I actually like Russell Wilson a little bit more than Justin Fields, but they just don't seem like they have quite enough weapons to put it all together.
right. I think Russell Wilson needs them to be to make up for his time on the Broncos because he was blamed for everything that went wrong on the Broncos. Um, so
Yeah, I mean he had a rough go, but then he kind of it just got ugly, and then
yeah, so I don't know. All right, well, we have some contenders, not as many. I think some of the teams are just going to be happy to make it into the playoffs. Um, and then it'll be interesting to see how far the Lions can go because right now they look like they can go far, but their playoff record hasn't been that. But then again, the Cubs went 100 years without winning a World Series, and so did the Red Sox. And then they decided they wanted to do it. So maybe this will be Detroit Lions' year.
yep. I guess we will see.
I
There's a
guess.
lot of football left, and we'll be talking a lot more between now and then when it happens. So
Yeah, yeah, and there's a lot more football left tonight. So I'm gonna go watch that. Hopefully, next time we meet, I'll have something exciting to talk about with the Cowboys win. Although we're winning right now, so boom, take that.
yes, you are winning, and again, but last time I said this, it stalled quickly. But the 49ers are driving. Right now, it looks like they are not going to get the first down.
Okay,
So now
like
you know. Now you know what's
I know.
coming up.
Yep.
Uh, Anyway, okay, all right. Well, Rob, I guess that's we'll call it a show. I'll let you
I'll
you
go
know,
watch my team hopefully not suck.
yeah, like your team will suck. Your team sucks. That's the deal.
That's the
Uh,
deal.
so,
That's
but
your team.
I'll let you watch your team suck.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. They're not going to suck this week. They're going to win. I
there,
know it.
there you
Yay!
go.
Let's go Cowboys. How Cowboys? So yeah. Well, until 2 weeks from now, folks. Jay and Corner Pub Sports. Thanks for joining us in the chat on YouTube
Yeah,
tonight.
appreciate it, guys.
If you're watching us on YouTube, you can also listen to us on all the podcasts that Mike mentioned earlier. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, do all that fun stuff. And we will see you all in 2 weeks after the Eagles lose the next two and the Cowboys win the next two.
Ooh, I don't see that happening. But yeah, is it next week? The next 2 weeks will be Cowboys week, won't it?
Yes.
Oh, that's going to be a
That's
must tune in show. There you
yeah,
go.
you're gonna have to definitely tune in. That's going to be the show of the season.
Yep.
We'll have two of them. This one and right after. Do they play again? I think right after Christmas, or right before Christmas, or something like
I
that.
think something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So then in December we'll have another amazing show where I am so happy because the Cowboys won both times against the Eagles, and all the fans in Philly are rooting for the coach to be fired, lynched, whatever else has to happen. And by the
This
way,
is all a possibility. I am going to be a little bit more really realistic here and say that they end up splitting because
okay,
that's what they do.
that's what they do all the time. We always split. Yep. And I get out there and vote, folks. I voted early today, and I have a sticker on it that says "Hey, vodato hoy." So
There you go.
I voted today. So go
I
out
like it.
there. If you can't get out there on Tuesday to vote, whoever you're voting for, make sure you vote. I voted early today to make sure that my vote counts. So get out there and vote because this is a very important election. So
Public
on that
service announcement. Yep.
PSA from two idiot football fans.
Yeah.
Yay. All right. On that note, I'll see you in 2 weeks, Mike.
Yep. See you in 2 weeks, Rob.
All right.
All right. Take these, bud.